In the heart of the Algerian plateau, a solitary schoolhouse stands, its only company the vast expanse of the desert. This desolate place is home to a lone figure, a teacher named Daru. With a heart as vast as the desert around him, Daru's life is one of solitude and dedication, committed to bringing education to this isolated corner of the world. On a day that started like any other, the monotony is broken by the arrival of an unexpected visitor, Balducci. He is not here to learn, but to deliver a lesson of his own. Accompanying him is a man, silent and subdued, a prisoner. Balducci, a man of the law, has been tasked with escorting this prisoner to the authorities. But now, he passes this responsibility on to Daru, under orders to deliver the man to the nearest police station. The thought of this duty weighs heavily on Daru. A teacher, not a jailer. He finds himself torn between the order he has been given and the moral dilemma it presents. Yet he is left with little choice. The prisoner, a stranger to him, is now his responsibility. He is to be the unwilling warden in this desolate landscape, the schoolhouse his makeshift prison. As Daru looks upon the prisoner, he sees not a man but a symbol of the harsh realities of his world. A world where the lines between right and wrong, freedom and imprisonment, are as blurred as the desert horizon. He is left with a sense of unease, a feeling that this encounter has set in motion a series of events beyond his control. With a sense of unease, Daru accepts the prisoner, not knowing that this decision will change his life. The walls of the schoolhouse, once a sanctuary of knowledge, now echo with the silent acceptance of this new role. In the heart of the Algerian plateau, in this isolated schoolhouse, a simple teacher is thrust into an unfamiliar narrative, a story that is just beginning to unfold. As the day wears on, Daru finds himself in a predicament, grappling with the moral consequences of his forced responsibility. In the heart of the Algerian plateau, Daru, a schoolmaster, is compelled to take on a responsibility he neither asked for nor desired. He is tasked with the custody of a prisoner, an Arab man accused of murdering his cousin. This unexpected burden weighs heavily on Daru, who is more accustomed to the comforting rhythm of his chalk against the blackboard than the clinking of a prisoner's chains. Yet, despite the harsh circumstances, Daru exhibits an unexpected kindness. He extends hospitality to his uninvited guest, sharing with him not just his humble abode, but also his meager rations. A simple meal of couscous and tea, shared in silence, becomes a poignant symbol of their shared humanity. This act of compassion, however, only serves to deepen the moral quandary that Daru finds himself in. The prisoner, for his part, remains an enigma. He accepts Daru's kindness with quiet gratitude, but offers little in return. His silence is as vast and as stark as the desert that surrounds them, leaving Daru alone with his thoughts and his fears. As the harsh Algerian sun sets, Daru's inner turmoil intensifies. He is torn between his duty to the state and his moral compass. To hand over the prisoner is to condemn him, to let him go is to defy the law. He is caught in a whirlwind of conflicting emotions, a storm of doubt and uncertainty that threatens to consume him. Torn between duty and empathy, Daru lays awake, pondering the course of action he must take. As the night deepens, so does his dilemma. The deafening silence of the desert echoes his internal struggle, a testament to the weighty responsibility that has been thrust upon him. The dawn arrives, bringing with it the long journey that Daru must undertake with the Arab. With the first light of day, the two men set forth, the vast desert stretching out before them like a blank canvas. The journey is long and arduous, their path marked by the shifting sands and the relentless sun overhead. The silence of the desert is a constant companion, broken only by the crunch of their footfalls and the occasional gust of wind. In this barren landscape, Daru finds himself in an uncomfortable position. The Arab, his charge, is a silent figure, his thoughts hidden behind a veil of stoicism. Daru grapples with his task, the weight of the responsibility he's been thrust into. As they trudge along, the police station, their intended destination, looms in the distance, but Daru halts their progression, a decision forming in his mind. In the heart of the desert, he offers the Arab a choice, a crossroads of fate, if you will. One path leads to the police, an inevitable fate that awaits the Arab. The other, a chance at freedom, a leap into the unknown with the nomads who roam this harsh wilderness. It's a moment of profound significance, a testament to Daru's own struggle with the morality of his task. The choice he offers the Arab is as much for himself as it is for his charge. It's a bid to reclaim his agency, to assert his own power in a situation where he's felt powerless. In the end, the decision rests with the Arab. His future, once dictated by others, is now in his own hands. Does he choose the path of surrender, or does he take the risk of freedom? In the vastness of the desert, two men part ways, their fates left hanging in the balance. Returning to his solitary schoolhouse, Daru is greeted with a chilling message that leaves him in a state of despair. The stillness of the room is shattered by the stark words carved into the chalkboard, words that promise vengeance for a deed Daru had hoped would be understood as an act of mercy. The irony of Daru's situation is palpable. He had tried to extend compassion to the Arab, to offer him a choice, a chance for freedom. Yet his actions are misconstrued, twisted into a narrative of betrayal. It's as if the desert itself, with its harsh, unyielding nature, echoes the harshness of his predicament. Daru had hoped to escape the burdens of choice and responsibility by giving the Arab the freedom to decide his own fate. He had hoped to remain neutral in a world of conflict and division, but his efforts seem to have backfired. The desert, in its infinite wisdom, has taught him a harsh lesson. Neutrality, in the face of moral choices, is a myth. We are all, in some way or another, implicated in the choices we make, or in Daru's case, the choices we avoid making. The desert, in its vastness and solitude, now symbolizes the isolation Daru faces. He is alone, not just physically but also in his struggle with the moral complexities of life. He is forced to confront the reality that his actions, however well-intended, have consequences. The desert, once his sanctuary, is now a reminder of the burden of his choices. Yet, there is a sense of resilience in Daru. Despite the threat, despite the isolation, he chooses to stay, to face whatever consequences may come. He refuses to be driven away by fear or intimidation. In the face of adversity, Daru stands tall, a solitary figure against the vast, unforgiving desert. In the unforgiving desert, Daru is left alone, facing the consequences of a decision he was forced to make. He stands, a testament to the enduring human spirit, a reminder that sometimes the right choices can be the hardest to make. And with that, we are left to ponder the complexities of responsibility, choice, and the unforeseen consequences they bring. Albert Camus' The Guest is a tale that delves deep into the human condition, exploring themes of isolation, choice, and consequence. The story's stark landscape and the profound solitude of its protagonist, Daru, serve as a metaphorical canvas upon which Camus paints his philosophical views. Isolation is the first theme we encounter. Daru, a schoolteacher, resides in an isolated schoolhouse on a plateau in Algeria. This isolation is more than geographical, it's existential. Daru's solitude mirrors our own human condition, where we are, in essence, alone in our thoughts, emotions, and the responsibility of our choices. This brings us to the second theme, choice. The crux of the story revolves around a decision that Daru is forced to make. Whether to hand over the Arab prisoner to the French authorities or set him free, Daru is caught between his morals and his duty, a predicament many of us face in our lives. Camus, a proponent of absurdism, believed that life is inherently meaningless, and it's our choices that give it meaning. Daru's dilemma underscores this belief. The third theme, consequence, is intrinsically linked to choice. Every decision we make carries a consequence, foreseen or unforeseen. For Daru, his choice leads to a threat against his life, an unforeseen and ironic consequence, considering his intent was to avoid violence. This theme echoes Camus' view on life's inherent absurdity, where outcomes don't always align with our actions or intentions. In dissecting these themes, we see how Camus uses the guest to articulate his philosophical musings. He presents us with a protagonist who, like us, grapples with solitude, faces difficult choices, and bears their consequences. He nudges us to reflect on our own lives, our decisions, and their often unpredictable results. In The Guest, Camus invites us to ponder over our own choices and their unforeseen consequences, leaving us with a haunting tale that lingers long after the story ends.